Right now, Cape Town Mayor Geordin Hill Lewis wants the city to take control of its suburban train services. The Central Line, an important passenger route in and out of the city, is still partly out of service. Theft and vandalism of infrastructure was made worse by the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, the mayor has written to President Cyril Ramaphosa asking for a joint working committee on the devolution of rail service. For more on this, I am joined by the mayor himself virtually. Thank you very much, Geordin, for your time here on eNCA. So obviously you think that you can do a better job than those who are looking after rail infrastructure on a national level.
Good afternoon. Undoubtedly we can. The latest statistics show that passenger rail services now only 2.5% of the customers that it serviced 5 years ago. There has been a 97.5% collapse in passengers. There is very little of the service left, I'm afraid. That gives me no joy to say. That's very sad for our country. So we believe that the future of effective working passenger rail must be at a local government, a city level, particularly those cities who have the capacity, who have the track record of managing public transport systems, and who are willing and able to now go ahead and run this pilot project.
All right, so you've written to President Cyril Ramaphosa. You've said in your statement from, I think it was on Monday, that he was silent in terms of his response. Today is the third day since you released that statement. Has he responded?
We just got a note to say that the president will respond to me directly, but we haven't actually got that response as yet. But the point is that it is now more than a year. We're going on 14, 15 months nearly since the National Cabinet decided to devolve passenger rail down to quote-unquote capable metros. And we've had no movement since then. 15 months later, we've had zero movement whatsoever. And so my letter is simply to urge him and nudge him to say, we are ready. We want to get cracking. We want to get moving on this. Let's set up a joint committee where we start to get our officials together to start working on the technical details. This is a massive, massive undertaking to hand over a rail system. It is going to take a long time. Let's get moving. Let's not wait another 15 months and where we have an official decision but no movement.
So PRASA, in terms of the numbers that they throw around when it comes to actually fixing and then also maintaining the infrastructure, but obviously we know that the reason we're here is because some of it wasn't maintained, and now we have to spend more money in terms of fixing what was there. They throw in exorbitant numbers, billions in some cases. Do you have millions available to be able to take up such a project?
No, we don't. I'm afraid the infrastructure has been so neglected that it will take billions to repair and restore to proper and efficient and safe functionality. We will have to put in some of that. The national state will have to put in some of that. There's no doubt about the fact that the system will need big subsidies. And the private sector will need to put in a lot of that investment itself. That is why we are so convinced the future operating model of passenger rail in South Africa must be with private sector investment and private sector management. And then they will be able to fund much of that infrastructure off of the books and the balance sheets of the state.
Well, Mamuluka Gubai, who is the policy head for economics in the ANC, said that the plan of devolution, the devolution of power in some services is off the table for the ANC. What's your response to what she's saying?
Well, that's precisely why I've written to the president. Mrs. Kubai is not the National Cabinet. The National Cabinet of South Africa, which is the highest policy-making decision body of in our country, of the Republic, has taken a decision in March of last year already, nearly 14, 15 months ago, to devolve passenger rail to capable metros, quote unquote. And we have seen no movement since then. We have seen comments like that from people who are, that's just an opinion. It doesn't have the same standing as a cabinet decision. But that is precisely why I've written to the president to ask, firstly, for his confirmation that this cabinet decision still stands. And secondly, if it does still stand, as I hope it does, to let's get moving. Let's get working on this together so we can make some progress.
She says that the reason why it would be off the table is because rail is one of the most strategic services, especially for the economic activity of the country. It all needs to connect nationally, and to just give parts of the power to metros would be a disaster. That's her explanation of saying it would be off the table for the ANC. But of course, we know that the economy hasn't been performing so well. At some point, even rail was put down as part of the problem. Would you say that you would be able to assist with the economy of South Africa with strategic services such as rail, even though the ANC's Mameloko Kubai is saying you can't?
I have to chuckle at that. I would say to Mrs. Kubai, it is a disaster already. It is 97.5% of passengers have abandoned the system. Every station is just a wreck. You had some images on the screen of the way that stations are looking. In many parts of the country, entire kilometers of tracks have been removed. It is a disaster, Mrs. Kubai. It is a disaster under the management of your government. So we are trying to fix it, and the way that we can fix it is at a local, capable city level. I'm not saying that it must be devolved to every municipality in the country. Don't get me wrong. There are many municipalities that cannot even pay their salaries. They can't take on additional responsibilities. But where there are cities that are working, that are capable, that's the wording of the cabinet decision, capable metros, then we must have the chance to do that and to prove that we can fix this very strategic. I agree that it is strategic. Goodness, it is one of the most important pieces of infrastructure for our entire national economy. That is why it must work and why we are so keen to take it over.
All right, Mr. Hill Lewis, before I let you go, I just want to, play a little clip from something that you posted on social media earlier this week that had quite a huge reaction. I'm just going to ask the team to just play that clip very quickly for the viewer to be able to be part of mine and your conversation.
What's your favorite food in Cape Town?
Okay, favorite food, I'm not going to lie, it's a Gatsby, of course. Steakhouse, full house steak.
Come on. So we're just asking people if you know who the mayor of Cape Town is.
No.
Do you know who the mayor of Cape Town is?
No, I did not know.
You don't know? Do you know who the mayor is?
Yes, that's you.
Do you know my name?
I just know you as the mayor.
Any recollection of his name?
Lewis or George? I think Hill Lewis.
That's right, yeah. Can you tell me
Geordin
what my...
Hill Lewis.
Well done. My name is Geordin and I am the mayor of Cape Town. I am the mayor of Cape Town, and it's Geordin Hill Lewis.
So you're just like a normal person, like walking around Cape Town?
100%.
I'm following you on Facebook. Good to see you.
What do you love about Cape Town the most?
Everything about the city. Really? I love the people, the city, the culture, everything. Waterbrand, Somerset here. Somerset, Waterbrand.
Big voice, eh? You should go into politics. What's the best thing that you love about Cape Town?
Rugby is lovely that we are playing here, so...
I totally agree. Anything that you think that we can do better?
You're doing a good job.
Bill, and what do you love most about Cape Town?
For me, it's got to be the people and the scenery. Like to wake up and see the ocean every day, and to come to a city that's so clean all of the time, compared to where I come from, the roads, it's amazing.
It's so nice to hear. Thank you, Mustafa. Welcome here, eh?
Yeah.
It's the mayor.
Well, a lot was said under that tweet of yours, Geordin, earlier this week when you posted that. Some people were saying, look, this is a politician that doesn't walk around with many bodyguards. That's a good sign. Some were saying, no, it's a bit narcissistic. Why is he asking people about himself? Obviously, there'll be a good and a bad reaction to this. But most people would say you're a monster PR strategist.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment. I think it was just a bit of fun. There's this great deal of seriousness in South Africa. We've just had an argument about rail devolution with the national government and so on. But really, it was just a fun idea that it might be a nice idea to go out and talk to some people in the city streets off the cuff.
All right. Thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Mr. Geordin Hill Lewis, the mayor of the city of Cape Town.